Hey everyone, welcome to a special bonus episode of Locked On Lakers for Sunday. Brian Kamenetsky here. LeBron cracks the 40,000 point barrier, but are they ever actually going to beat the Denver Nuggets? That's next.
You are Locked On Lakers, your daily Los Angeles Lakers podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thanks to everybody for making Locked On Lakers first listen of every day, Monday through Friday, and obviously sometimes on Sundays. It's always free. It's never behind a paywall. Locked On Lakers on YouTube is where you can go hang out with over 23,000 subscribers to the channel, all of whom are wondering when the Lakers are going to beat the Nuggets, finally get that win. It seems like the same script over and over and over and over again, and it played out again on Saturday night at the Crypt, 124-114, the final score, as once again, the Lakers are completely out-executed down the stretch. So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about some choices that Darvin Ham made over the course of this one and all of that. But we'll start with LeBron James, who did crack the 40,000 point barrier, 40,000 points, in not in this game, but which would be impressive, but over the course of his career. It really is. He had 26 points, 9 assists, played a pretty good game on Saturday, to say the least. And to put this into perspective, if a player came into the league today, started playing, or started next year, whatever it is, averaged 25 points a game, it would take 1,600 games or 19.51 seasons to reach the 40,000 point barrier, as LeBron did in this game on Saturday. And obviously LeBron's going to continue adding to this all-time scoring record. So it really is a remarkable feat, one that is worth noting because it's just going to keep going up. If you cut LeBron James's points in half, just said, you know what, we're lopping off half of them, he's still going to finish this season as a top 50 scorer all time. So that's if you just say you don't get half your points anymore. So congratulations to him. But the bigger story for the Lakers, of course, is the game itself. And this was the standard formula. The Lakers basically have been, unfortunately, needing to follow or having to follow or following in every game they've played over the eighth straight time they've lost to the Nuggets. And as it was in the most playoff games last year, as it's been over the course of this year, the games are not blowouts. The Lakers are in them for most of these runs. And over the last 4 or 5 minutes, 3-4 minutes, whatever it turns out to be, the Nuggets out-execute them in a big, big way. This was a game the Lakers led early. They had a lead at halftime. They were up by 2 with 4:11 to play, and they were outscored 17-5 down the stretch. And, that kind of execution where Denver is able to score, Denver is able to get stops, and the Lakers really can't do either one. This has become the defining pattern for these this Lakers Nuggets matchup. I should mention, by the way, Andy is just doing post-game radio on Saturday night. So he is, if you want to vent on live radio, you can give him a call at ESPN LA. But, look, the difference between this game, in this game, other than a talent disparity, the Nuggets are a better team, and they continue to show how, which is, again, late game execution is where you see this most often. Other ways, Nikola Jokic, he provided far more offensively for the Nuggets than Anthony Davis did for the Lakers. AD, not a god-awful stat line, 17 points, 11 rebounds, 3 blocks. But, on a game like this against a premier opponent, 17 points isn't enough. 13 shots, not enough. He needs to be more involved in the offense. Rebounding, the Lakers got hammered on the boards. 47-31 was the final tally there. That was a big separating point in this game between the Nuggets and the Lakers. Bench points. The Nuggets had really big games off the bench. Peyton Watson had 7 points. Justin Holiday, who has played very well for them, he had 13. The Lakers bench combined for 12 points. So Justin Holiday outscored the Lakers bench. And that just really can't happen. So you start to break these things down, and then combine it with the ability to score late, and you can see why the Lakers continue to struggle against the Nuggets. And you look, other choices, like when you are not the most talented team, when the other team is better than you, and Denver is better than the Lakers. I don't think they're light years better, but we see over again, the pattern keeps holding. The Lakers have that superiority from Denver demonstrated to them almost every time in almost the same way. Everything you do has to be on point. Anthony Davis needs to be elevated. They got good games from Rui Hachimura. They got 23 points. They got a career high 14 assists from Austin Reaves. There was enough there around from the supporting players to kind of get this done. If the bench shows up a little bit more, if Anthony Davis has a little bit bigger game. Michael Porter Jr. went nuclear. He was 10 for 10 on the night. He's always a tough matchup for the Lakers. 10 of 10 really tilts things in one direction. So that's another thing that happened to the Lakers that separated. There was no nuclear performance from anyone really in a purple and gold uniform in this game. And then, what Darvin Ham, your coaching needs to be. If you're coaching the team that isn't as strong, your coaching needs to be high end. It needs to be on point. And there were plenty of things I know Lakers fans, and certainly me watching, questioned. I understand the logic, the sort of philosophical approach to, for example, for why you would want Cam Reddish to close against Denver over D'Angelo Russell. We've spent a lot of the entire offseason talking about how D'Lo got played off the floor, and they were hunting him, and they can all that stuff, and they can continue to do that. But when you stop scoring, as the Lakers did, and you get in these droughts, if it's when you're protecting an 8-point lead, a 10-point lead, whatever, okay, fine. Maybe you go with Cam Reddish, who at least in theory profiles as a better defender, more switchable, can pick up more guys in more matchups and make your defense better. Okay, fine. Most people who watch the show every day, all the everydayers know that I am very Cam Reddish skeptical, but I get it. When you start to fall behind, though, and the offense is clearly, again, I mentioned the Lakers were down up by 2 with 4 minutes to go. They had 108 points. They finished with 114. I'm sorry, they had 110 points at the time. They finished with 114. So they didn't score the rest of the way. You got to get Russell back in the game before like 90 seconds are left or whatever it was. So that wasn't good. I understand the idea of not matching up AD against Jokic the entire game. The Lakers tried to throw a bunch of different coverages. They tried to do a bunch of stuff. 134. Russell entered the game for Reddish. They were already down by 7. Down the stretch of the game, we needed to see more of Davis directly on Jokic. Jokic was just taking too much control of this game. It was making too many things too easy for Denver, and they needed to find a way. And it's not that hard to get Anthony Davis on Jokic in crunch time, to not lean on that. And if you lose, you lose. Jokic can score on anyone. And again, I understand, you want Davis to be able to help and roam and, cut off drivers and all that kind of stuff, which you can't do if he's, at the top of the key on Jokic or something like that. But they needed to go to that. And then Darvin, as the Lakers, again, up 110 to 108, and Denver starts scoring, and it's a 111 to 110 and 113 to 110 and 115 to 110. The Lakers didn't call a timeout until 134 left in the game, now down by 7, 119, 112. I am, again, everydayers know I am probably more agnostic about the power of timeouts than almost any NBA commentator podcaster or whatever that you're going to find. There really can't be a whole lot of people out there who question the magical powers of timeouts more than I do. The idea that they didn't call one here, Darvin didn't call one here, is I'm yelling at the TV, get a timeout. You got to gather your team up, and you can't wait till, again, 90 seconds are left in the game to start getting active on that. And so, is this a game that Darvin lost for them? No. Denver, again, is the better team and all that. But what it does is highlight the places where the Lakers aren't as good, where it's the bench that they don't get the same kind of production, where your star is a little less good than their star. And your coach isn't helping. The coach isn't able to push all the right buttons to give your team the best chance to win. And if you lose, you lose. But I just didn't. Those things did right. So you end up in a situation where the Lakers lose, and it's kind of a familiar story. And from a standings standpoint, they are now 10th in the conference with this, the remainder of this brutal stretch of games starting Monday against Oklahoma City, and then Sacramento, and then Milwaukee, and then Minnesota, and then Sacramento again, and then a Warriors team that never seems to lose anymore. And so, that's 40% of your remaining schedule right there. And the Lakers are going to have to win some of those games. They had a chance to beat Denver Saturday. They couldn't do it. So they got to turn around now and try to beat Oklahoma City, try to beat Sacramento, try to beat Milwaukee. If you want to have any chance of moving up somewhere higher than 10th. And, we'll talk more about this for Monday's show, but, it's not out of the question. The gap between 7 and 10 is 2.5 games. The gap between 6 and 10 is 3. And the gap between 5 and 10 is 3.5. I don't think the Lakers can get all the way up to 5, 3.5, jumping over that many teams. But there's still some wiggle room. They got to win. And it doesn't really matter who they're playing. They have to win some games. So anyway, we will be back on Monday to get ready for the rest of these games, talk about Oklahoma City. First, do want to tell you, though, that Locked On Lakers is brought to you by Prize Picks. What is Prize Picks? It's America's #1 fantasy sports app with over 3 million members. It's the easiest and most exciting way to play daily fantasy sports. It's just you against the numbers. You pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections. And you basically just watch the winnings roll in. And right now on Prize Picks, it's demon time. You can win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. You can turn $10 into $1,000. Demons and Goblins are the newest and most exciting way to play Prize Picks. Squares marked with red demons or green goblins get you different payouts, and you can now win up to 100 times your money with as little as 4 correct picks. Prize Picks, this is something really cool about them. They even offer injury insurance so that your entries can stay in play even if one of your players gets injured. With football and basketball games, if you have a player that exits in the first half and does not return in the second, this happens to the Lakers all the time, the player projection won't count against you and the rest of your entry stays live. Prize Picks is the only daily fantasy sports platform with an injury insurance policy. Really simple to play. Make your picks and submit the entry in less than 60 seconds. So go to prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA. Use the code LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, prizepicks.com/LockedOnNBA. Use the code LockedOnNBA for a first deposit match up to $100. Locked On Lakers also brought to you by FanDuel. Get buckets with your first bet on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. Again, new customers, $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. It's $150 if your bet wins. So you can bet on all of your favorite NBA players and teams with quick bets, live same game parlays, exclusive props, really anything that you can wrap your head around. FanDuel can take care of that for you. So again, $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com/LockedOn and shoot your shot. FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. We will see everyone tomorrow.